It's not going to sound round. It's going to take a long time to break in, and it's going to give you a lot of problems. Now, I remember when I Hello Saxo friends, Kadrian here, the Sax Habit Coach, bringing you the best practice tips, tools, and ideas to help you as a beginner saxophone player develop the practice habits and routines to master your saxophone faster. Now, my purpose is to serve, motivate, and to inspire you. So all of us at one point or another on our saxophone journey, we have fallen into the reed trap. And as a beginner, you are not exempted. So as you can see, I have a bunch of reeds here. I have some Royals, I have some Lavos, I have some plastic cover. I have these Xinzhong. It's a Chinese, some Chinese reeds. Those I found not to be very good. Then these Van Doren Paris. I have one box that is opened, and I have an unopened box here. Then I have my Legere. These I have been using for a while, so I have 1 and 2. I label my reeds, and then I have 2 new cases here that I have not yet opened that I will be using later on. Now, one of the traps that beginners, or most of us, we have fallen into is to play on a single reed for too long. The longer you play on a reed, it means that the grain of the reed, especially cane reeds, is going to wear down. And so after a while, your embouchure is going to become weak because the reed is softer than when you began playing on it, right? And so you think that the reed should last forever and you continue to play everything on it. But one of the things you want to do is to rotate your reed. So as you can see here, these are 2 that I've been rotating, and there's another on my saxophone that is already set up. So I have 3 of them that I rotate. And what you want to do essentially is that you practice for 25 minutes or 30 minutes on one reed, and then you take it off and put on another reed. If you're practicing for long hours like I do, I practice from anywhere from 90 minutes to 2.5 hours to 3 hours sometimes. Okay, so if you're practicing for that long, or even if you're practicing for an hour, then you need to have at least 2 reeds that you rotate. Because when you don't do that, the reed is wearing down and your embouchure is becoming weak. Just like going to the gym and you're always just lifting 20 kilograms and never going to 25, 30, and so on. Additionally, what you can do is use one size up. So if your size is a size 2 reed, then you can keep a size 2.5, and you use that for your warm-ups each day. So you play your long tones, your overtones, and so on for 5 to 10 minutes on that reed, and then after you're done with that, after your warm-up exercise, then you can go to the reed that you like to play on. The next trap is we blame the reed, right? Now, it's a fact that when you're using cane reeds, you are going to get between 5 and 8 good reeds out of a box of 10. That is a fact. However, one of the challenges that I've seen and that I've experienced for myself and that I've heard from others is blaming the gear, right? And like I said, there is a time when the gear really is the problem, because you're only going to get about 8 out of a box of 10. However, most times when the gear is blamed, the player has not spent enough time with the gear to understand the gear. And so I had a problem with, for example, the Legere reeds at one point. They were very edgy, and I don't like when my sound is edgy. Now, what I found out was it wasn't the reed. The problem was the pairing of the reed with the mouthpiece and the ligature. So for example, I have this Jumbo Java A45 mouthpiece, and whenever I try to use a Legere reed on it, I will get some sound out of it, but I have not found it to work very well. When I use the plastic cover or one of these Royals on it, it sounds good. Now, I don't play on this mouthpiece very much because in the middle of the horn and the lower register is very round and nice, but when I go into the top, like for my palm keynotes, it's very light and thin, and I have spent quite a bit of time on it, so I don't use it very much. So the pairing may be wrong, and that's why you don't like the reeds. And so a lot of people will blame the Legere reeds and say that they are very thick or they are hard, or they feel like a piece of plank or something like that. But what I've found is that you have to spend time with one reed long enough and figure out the correct pairing with the mouthpiece and the ligature. Another thing is that many folk fall into the trap of using the wrong size. So right now I have right here, one of these is a 2.25. This one is a 2.25. So I only use this one for my warm-ups because it's too hard for me. My regular size is a size 2 leger reed, right? And so I use this for my warm-up. So after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I take this off, put it in its case, and then I go to my size 2, right? So if the reed is too hard for you or it is the wrong size, then it's going to be difficult to play. It's not going to sound round. It's going to take a long time to break in, and it's going to give you a lot of problems. Now, I remember when I was spending like 45 minutes being frustrated with the reeds I was using. And when I started taking mentorship, my mentor told me one thing. He gave me a single piece of advice, and that changed the entire trajectory. Now, I was fiddling with these reeds, these cane reeds here, and so, I'd parked my leger reeds for a while, and so after he gave me that piece of advice, which had nothing to do with leger or nothing to do with any of these cane reeds, I just parked these reeds and I went back to my leger reeds, and I haven't had any problem since, right? Now, you only get information like those sometimes by going behind a paid wall, because not everything is out there. I searched everywhere on YouTube and Google, and I used all the information I could have found, but none of it worked, only what my mentor told me. Another trap that a lot of beginners fall into is buying the cheapest reed they can find. Now, I have done it several times in the past. You go on eBay or you go on Amazon and you try to find some very cheap reeds, right? Don't buy cheap reeds, okay? Don't buy cheap reeds because they are no good. Like these reeds, they don't cost very much. And I have tried to use them and they're no good. I've changed like multiple mouthpieces and it never worked, and multiple ligature, it never works. So you need to spend money to buy good reeds, and you need to buy the right size. Additionally, you need to spend time with the reed. So for example, I like the plastic cover reeds with this mouthpiece. When I try to use it with the mouthpiece that I'm using now, it's okay, but it doesn't give me the full range or the full depth, right? So on one part of the horn, it will work, and then it doesn't sound very well when I'm playing in certain parts of my saxophone. The one reed that I've found that work with my pairing, meaning my ligature and my mouthpiece setup, are the leger reeds. And what I like about the leger reeds, no matter what other people say about them, I just take out the reed, flip it onto my mouthpiece, and I'm good to go. I don't have to waste any time. For you to get these to sound round and to have a full sound, number one, you have to find your right size. And so my suggestion is, if you're going to buy leger reeds, start from the lowest number. The big mistake and another trap that a lot of persons make when it comes to leger reeds is that they start, if they play a 2.5 on cane reed, they start with a 2.5 on a leger reed. These are not made from natural material, meaning the cane that we get out of the earth, right? It's made from synthetic material, so it's stiffer, it's harder. So it's not going to be the same. You will find that if you buy a size 2.25 leger reed, that would equate to maybe a size 3 cane reed, right? So you need to buy a lower size, and then you test the sizes until you find what is good for you. So the biggest advice I can give to you about reeds is that 1, don't buy cheap reeds. 2, rotate your reeds. 3, I would say spend time with the reed before you start blaming the reed. So like these, I have friends that play saxophone, and when I see them again, I'm going to give away these because these are not to my liking. They are not to my style. I play reggae, right? I play a lot of reggae. These Van Doren reeds are more suitable for people who are playing classical music, okay? So you have to figure out which reed works for you, the right size, the right type of reeds. And if you're a beginner, I would say to you, start with some leger reeds because they're going to save you a lot of time. It's no sense wasting 45 minutes to an hour in the practice room just trying to find a reed to work. And I'll leave a link below in the description for you to find basically all of these reeds, and then you can figure out which one is good for you. So don't fall into that trap of playing on a singular reed forever. It's going to get soft, it's going to make your embouchure weak, and it's not going to sound good after a while. Don't buy cheap reeds, and make sure you buy the right size reed that works for you. Until next time, Saxo friend, push, play until something happens. Peace.